So what's your intro usually?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
It's a hail.
Hail.
Hail, my 9-1 here. And believe you me, do I have a special guest for you. The American dream. Self-made man, if you will.
Yeah.
Here he
I don't
is.
know what to say.
The American dream himself.
Obviously, I didn't come up with that nickname myself.
Yeah, Miss Landry did, am I right? That's a fact right there. That's the topic of our discussion today. School story time, part 3.
The sequel everybody's wanted.
Yeah, it's a sequel even though it's part 3. So Eric, you got anything for us today?
I don't know, where should I start? Elementary, middle?
Let's do high school because that's always the funniest.
High school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you got something funny in elementary and or before.
We can start with high school.
Right.
So,
You can use fake names if you want. It's up to you.
Okay.
I did once, but sometimes you don't need to.
I'm going to refer to, there are two people in this one. I'm going to refer to them as, there's a male and female. I'm going to refer to them as Derek and Bailey.
Okay, so Derek's the
Derek and Bailey.
So Derek's the female and Bailey's the male.
No.
Let's just go like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I going to say he and she too? Derek is a he or she?
Yeah, no, let's just switch it back. Bailey's the female.
Alright. So I was sitting in English class, and I was kind of just like screwing around talking with my friends because no one cares about English class. Because so I'm sitting there and I kind of taper off from our conversation I'm having with Derek and Bailey, and so you know when you're thinking about something but you're not really using like your brain.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You're thinking. You're just kind of like.
Preach it, sister.
Yeah, you're just blank staring kind of thing. Well, I didn't know that I was blank staring right at Bailey's boobs. And she noticed.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
And she noticed and she was like and then that kind of like snapped me out of it. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry about that. And she was totally cool with it, but I felt so bad. And Derek was just laughing so hard.
Is it who I think he is?
Yes. No, this was back in like sophomore year.
Yeah, it's not
And-
who I think it is.
Yeah, but he was laughing and really drawing attention to us, and I felt really embarrassed about it. So
That's
that was weird. And do you have any?
Well, I have some. So one time, we were in class, right, with Chub and Tuck, first month.
Chub and
That's what I'm going to refer to him as. And Keanu, you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Keanu. He was like, "Hey guys, you know, I what are we doing?" You know, in the middle of his sentence, he'd be like, "Okay, guys, I got a great idea for what we're doing today. You know, because we had to do a project." And he's like, "Okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do." And they're like, "What?" We're like, "What?"
Down syndrome or something.
What are we talking about? No, he's just so high out of his mind.
Oh.
Like, unbelievably high. Like, red eyes and everything. Anyways, and one time he was saying to Jada, you know, you're not even black. You're like a white black, you know? Because I don't know.
Bleached.
Something like that. Like, not skin color-wise, but just how she talks and how she is. And he was like, "No, this is, you know," cussing and everything. And then Mr. Menace, or excuse me, Chub and Tuck, shows up and he's like, "Okay, Keanu, let's calm down unless you're going to be out of the class." And he's like, "Why? What did I do?" He's like, "You're disrupting the class." Because it's not like, you know, we're free roaming or anything.
You
It's
were
like,
being disruptive?
it's in the middle of class. He's talking. He's like, "Shut up, Jada. You don't know anything," you know? And he's like, "Keanu, let's bring it down. Let's actually do some work." He's like, "I'm working." He's like, "On what? Your conversational skills?" And then he was saying, you know, whatever. And then
The back talk.
yeah, as Mr. Chubbintuck is going to the phone to call up the security guard, you know, "Hey, he's not leaving the class. He's being disruptive." He was like, "Look at this bold ass man, like, trying to be Mr. Clean right behind his back, you know, everything." And then and then I didn't see Keanu ever again.
Chub and Tuck made him disappear forever.
It's power of Mr. Clean.
When you said Chub and Tuck, I originally thought you were referring to DeBuzz. So I was like, oh, what did he do this time?
No, the Buzz is a special case, dude.
Have you been told yet that DeBuzz likes to write Smash Bros. Fan fiction?
I was there. So me and Wimberly, right, were in tech class together, and we were sitting right here, because you know how the rows are, so it's a 4-row right in front, and then a 4-row that's straight rather than a 4-row that's a square. So we were in a straight table together, and we sat next to each other, making fun of people and everything. And right in front of us was Aaron and DeBuzz. And Aaron is like, oh my god, I hate this guy, but I also kind of like him. Like, he's nice, but oh my god, he's annoying. So DeBuzz was like, hey Aaron, hey Aaron, hey Aaron. He's like, yes. I'm just gonna say DeBuzz because it's a lot funnier to say. He's like, yes, DeBuzz. He says, can you read this?
Proofread it.
He's like, it's really good. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, you remember they look at each other like, okay. So then he's looking through it and he's reading it out loud. He's like, okay, I'll read it to you instead, so you can work as you're doing it. And he's like, then Lucario said to Luigi, hey. That's when their love started. And I'm like, oh my god. Like,
wow.
What?
Nice.
And then one day DeBuzz was like, hey Aaron, hey Aaron, hey Aaron. And then he was like, yes.
I expanded
DeBuzz.
on it.
He says, is there something in the back of my throat? And he goes, ah.
He did that to me too in science class.
And he's like, is there anything white back there? And he goes,
he's trying to see through the strip.
Yeah, anything like that. And he's like, I'm not looking down there. He's like, why? There's nothing down there. It's all gross. Why won't you look? And I'm like, you just said yourself, it's gross.
Yeah.
And it's just the buzz. And then every single time, Wimberly would have his feet out. Every time! And I could bet money on this. The buzz would go like this. Like, just step on it. And he'd be trying to avoid it, and he'd be like, oh, and step on it. And then Wimberly would be like, because, you know, the buzz isn't light. He's kind of heavy.
And then he'd, like, always just step on his feet.
Yeah, so he's, like, avoiding the first one, trips on the first one, and steps on the second one really, really hard. And then he's like, oh, sorry. And then he moves past the second one, steps on the second one with his other foot, and just sits down. He's like...
The thing is with DeBuzz, you know that he's doing it on accident. There's no way in hell he's doing it on purpose.
There's no possible way. Yeah. It's so funny, because Wimberly's just like...
And you're going to have, like, destroyed feet.
I'm not going to be able to run after this. I'm not going to be able to play golf.
I won't be able to move between holes because my feet are gone.
Oh, man, it's so crazy. The man is a legend. Like, and then when he dances...
He's a living meme.
He's like... Okay, so there's the living memes, like Shoo Shoo. He is a meme. He's embraced it. Because we got the Wordu, we got the well-known. That was me, but he started it off. So it's Shoo Shoo, DeBuzz. And then we're looking for the big three, which I'm starting to think is either going to be Evan...
Terry.
No. Evan Darling.
Evan Darling. We gotta get a teacher in there.
Shove and Tuck or Lutzi. It's one of those three. So,
yeah.
Oh my god, I gotta start on another one. I'm sorry, Eric Self, if you got a good one. The American Dream. Apologize.
Hey, if it's a good story, then tell me.
Oh my god, sorry. So, we were in class, right, in Miss Landry's class, and me and Zappelli were close to each other. So, we were in the corner-ish area by the chair and everything, by the lamp. And what happened was that he was sitting here, Javier was here, and I was here. And he said, hey man, look at this. And I'm like, what? And mind you, we're supposed to be writing our American Dream, you know, that essay about you. And he throws it at me. He's like, hey, look at this. I'm like, what is it? It's a picture of Ryan Gosling. And I'm like, okay, what's this? And he's like, remember what I told you? And I'm like, about what? He's like, Evan Darling. I'm like, that he's supposed to look like him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, look at it. And it's like, okay, I will be honest. In this one picture out of millions that Google provided you, you searched through 20 minutes of photos to find this specific one where he kind of looks like him. He's like, yeah, he looks like him. I'm like, no, he kind of does in this photo, but not in any other photo you can provide me. So at one point, he was like, I'll prove it to you right now that it looks the same. And mind you, Miss Landry has a crush on Ryan Gosling.
She has a poster.
Oh, we saw. Yeah. So one time, Evan Darling came in the classroom, and since he looks like Ryan Gosling, very loosely looks like him, he was saying, Belly said, dude, are we supposed to stop class? Because I mean, if the poster says if he comes in, and he's like, no, I'm like, no, shut your mouth. It's not him. It does not look like him. And then that same day, he goes to Mr. Darling, who has, who's his 7th mod teacher for study skills. He walks in, and you high-five him as you walk in. He high-fives him, he's like, "Hey, Mr. Gosling." Walks by, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "You look like Ryan Gosling." He's like, I really don't. I thank you, but I don't.
You must be partially blind.
Yeah, and then the next day he said, "Hey, Mr. Gosling." He's like, "Again with this?" And then I just gave up. I wrote in he's like, hey Shane, can you write in my yearbook? I'm like, yeah, sure, I love to. Because half the year I was with him as my tech teacher, and then half the year I switched around. Mike Malone did me like that. It worked out in my favor. I had to buzz and wiggle in one class. Can you blame me? I had to take it. So I signed it, and I said, "Dear Mr. Darling, I don't remember the rest. You're a great teacher. Thank you for teaching me a lot about coding and everything. Thank you for helping me throughout the year, and I can't wait to see you in First Man." And then I put Shane, and if for those of you that aren't well acquainted, First Man is a movie coming out about Neil Armstrong on October 10th, I think, or something. And who's playing Neil Armstrong? Ryan Gosling. Yes, exactly who. So I wrote that in there, and I can't wait to see what he says when I show up at school. He'll be like, "Shane, what's this?"
Do you think he'll get the reference?
He knows about, if he knows about, First Man, he will, but otherwise like the audience, some might not know. Yeah. He might not know. But if I put First Man with the quotations to show that it's a movie. So maybe he looked it up, and he's like, "Oh, God, not again." So yeah, next year I'm going to be like, hey, Mr. Gosling, stop.
So that's just going to be his name now.
Yeah.
Gosling.
And what I will do, I will have my phone out at graduation, because he has an Instagram, and it's private. And I don't want to, ask for permission to follow, and then he says no and blocks me, and because he'll think, he'll just keep trying, and he's a student. So what I will do, and graduation, the second I graduate, they're like, "You've graduated, throw your hats," or whatever. I will throw my hat, and as I do, as I come down, I'll be like, "Follow." I will do that so hard, and Zappelli will be like,
"Gosling, answer me."
Yeah, I bet I said, "Dude, we should both do it," and he's like, "Yeah, it's a good idea."
Nice.
You got anything else for us, American Dream?
I gotta go down the list, because...
It's a long list.
Yeah. I remember I was in kindergarten, and when you have an embarrassing moment, and it stays with you forever.
Preach it, sister.
Yeah. And I was back in kindergarten, and this is the only thing I remember about kindergarten, funny enough. But we were walking to class. We had to stand in lines to walk to class. It was like the freaking Nazi concentration camp.
No, I feel it.
And so we're standing in the line. I got kids in front of me, kids behind me. I was feeling kind of sick throughout the day.
Rip.
It was kind of sick, and so we go to first class. We're standing in line. We start walking. Then all of a sudden, I just really had to vomit all of a sudden. So I turned around. I did a 180, and I puked in the direction of the kid behind me.
What happened to the kid behind you?
He dodged it.
Ooh.
It was pretty crazy. I was pretty impressed. And like a little kid who doesn't really understand how social things work, I kind of didn't know what to do, so I kept walking. I had puked all over the ground. But then, as I'm walking, I walked about a good 15 more feet,
Did it again.
and I puked again.
What a legend.
And I turned around again. And this time he was totally ready for it. He was standing off to the side, he's like, "I ain't taking that again."
Absolute rip.
And then I was like, "Sorry," and I went into class. And
You just left it there.
Yep. And the poor principal had to clean it up. She was a really nice lady, but then they sent me home, and it was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. Absolute rip in the American dream. Well, while you're still
The American
here,
dream had to start somewhere.
Preach it, sister. But I have a story for all of the viewers about the American dream, whilst you're here, of course. So I was in Miss Landry's class, and I wrote down to not forget what she told me, because she told me that Eric from First Mod had said this about the American dream, and I'm like, I really like that. So I wrote down Eric Self, is Eric Self the American dream, ? To not forget it. And then both Selma and Sapelli both said, well, what if it's actually Eric Jensen? And I'm like, no, he's too dumb to know that, to actually think of something that good. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then next day, I have it on the paper, and I, like, below that, I'm like, I'll just keep it so I remember it, and I wrote down what I wanted to do. And then Miss Landry reads it, and she looks at me, and she's like, Is Eric Self the American Dream? And I said, you'll find out in my paper, won't you, Miss Landry?
I'll describe all of it.
Yeah. And then she says, well, Eric Jensen is the person that made that up. And I said, I slammed the table. I'm like, no! And everyone just like went quiet and like looked at me, and someone was like, it's the wrong one. And then someone looked at me and said, told you so. He's like, told you so.
Yeah, Jensen, he really loves talking about stuff in English class.
Yeah, I'm like it's me and Isabel in the class really that are really good at in the class. Otherwise, it's like no one.
Well, because first module, everyone's so exhausted from like
sleep.
They're
like, kill me.
Yeah, so no one wants to talk at all. But Eric Jensen, who probably stays up all night because he's a vampire,
like children's book.
Mexican vampires. Yeah, we need some more of those in movies.
Classic.
But yeah, Jensen, like, he's always ready to talk about something. He's ready to, like, when we were sitting in circles reading that poem, he was like grading everybody on how well they could pronounce German words. He's like, Mein Kampf, not Kampf.
Yeah, whatever. How the white people pronounce him.
Yeah,
right?
and then I'm like, bro, no one cares.
Yeah, I can't believe. Like, I care because like I have the book, obviously, and it for me it's I love the German language. So if people mess something up as easy as like
there's some long words in the German language.
Yeah, I get when it's like the longest word. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that very well. But like, and it's the same thing with Japanese for me too. Like if it's spelt out in English, like in Romananji, I think it is, or it says like the oto hotel or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? People are like, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's like you could just say the castle. It's like, bro, if you take like 5 seconds and actually look at the word, and it's like Kiatsu hotel or castle or whatever it is, you can pronounce it if you give it more than just a glance. Like there's a K next to the Y. I mean, I can't pronounce that.
It must be ki or kai.
Not to them. To them, it's like there's a J in there after the do. I don't get it. And then yeah, man, it's hard for when like there's words that are so easy for you that you know how to pronounce, right? Mm-hmm. Like I was in class and I don't remember who mispronounced it. When someone mispronounced like and I don't remember what word it was, just like easy word too. And I was like, how do you know pronounce that? Or it was ballet. They're like, oh yeah, ballet. They're like ballot. I'm like, ballot has an O in it. not ballet. And Miss Landry, I think it was like, it's ballet. He's like, but why is there a T? She's like, it's French, don't ask.
Blame the French people.
Is she wrong?
No.
There's like half the words in French that have a T at the end. You're like,
T's like non-existent.
Yeah. So why is it in the language? Like, I don't know, like my name, there's an E in it. You wouldn't know that.
Shaney.
You gotta hurt me like that.
I'm
Eric
sorry.
with a K. Not a CK as Jose Lua would pronounce, or rather, spell.
Josie. Whenever Jose's annoying me, I just call him Josie.
He gets so mad. He has
he's annoying all the time, so I have to call him Josie a lot.
Yeah, I remember when we were in class, every time in art class we had a project, he would do his last name without fail. I could bet $10 on it. He would do an art project, and it would be L-A-U. I swear to God, every time. I could look at every single art project he did throughout the year, and I would see it at least somewhere in there.
Well, we were told to sign our work, but on like the back of the paper, not on the actual art.
Well, it's not that I don't think it's like he wants to sign it. I think it's that he wants, like, he loves that name. But I don't get it. Because he has 2 last names, so maybe that he likes that last one rather than the, just wants to remove that one like some people do. They're like, oh, I don't like this name, I'd rather have this one. It's like, why? Why can't you just be happy with who you are?
Yeah. Good words.
Thank you, American Dream, for showing up.
You're welcome.
Always showing that hard work pays off.
The capitalism, the economy, everything that makes the American dream work, am I right?
Preach it, sister.
About to break my hand.
As it should be. Thank you for watching.
Bye.